Hey guys, this is the Blue Collar Future Podcast. I'm your host, Jaden Robison, with our co-host, Jessie Demler, with us today. What's up, Jessie?
What's up, dude? Just chilling out here in the nice sun.
Dude.
Enjoying it before second winter comes.
Dude, it is nice. I was outside yesterday working in my yard, and then towards the end of the day, I took a book out and was just sitting on my patio. And I was like, this is the March that I felt like I wanted, and not the 80-degree misery we've had last week, because it's freaking hot. It has been way too hot.
Yeah, and we got predicted snow on Thursday, so it's like, just the usual Utah bipolar.
Dude.
It's just crazy. A little more extreme this year.
Crazy weather. It makes me not excited for the summer, though, where we were super heated there for a while. I don't know what that's going to look like.
Yeah, I mean, all of our ski resorts just closed, because they were all like,
yeah, early.
We can't do anything about this.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. So we'll just jump right into our topic, and it actually is going to have a lot to do with what I was going to ask you next about your side job you did yesterday. But, our topic is perseverance. Pretty big thing. So yeah. I feel like a lot of people give up too soon.
Yeah.
Either can't just get it in their head that things don't come super quickly just because, or just feel like it's too hard and they just give up and don't ever get to a point where, like, they'll see stuff that you're doing, or stuff maybe even sometimes that I'm doing, that are like, it must be nice. And a lot of people maybe have the take that working in the trades and being successful is a privileged thing. Like you can't do that unless you get lucky and stuff. And literally all it takes is putting your head down, showing up, and keep showing up until it happens. I mean, really is all it is. And you got to be intentional about it, like we always say, but you have to keep showing up and having that drive to be better and to do better. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I agree with you. It's a lot of people quit, and you've probably seen the graph, what an exponential graph looks like, right? So it's like this, and then it does the hockey stick thing, right? But people quit here, or the meme of the dude's almost to the diamonds and he quits, or in that sort of stuff. But the thing is, this takes a long time, and then all of a sudden it starts doing this. And we were talking before, you started to see that with the podcast. What episode are we on?
147, I think, or something.
Yeah, so you're at 147. You've been trying, but you're on 147, and like you said, or even statistically, most podcasts end at episode 3 because they're like, well, no one watched it, and you're like, you've been doing this for this long, and you're saying the other day you're getting hundreds of downloads. What, last week you said you had the most downloads you've ever had?
This month is the highest download month we've had, and it sounds probably not like a lot to big podcasts, but for most podcasts, they don't ever get to anywhere near this. But we had, even today, the podcast had 150 downloads or something. But when I woke up, and I was like, where the crap are these coming? What does this even mean? So it's weird to think about, and this month we've had over 1,000 downloads, which is pretty crazy. And people get too wrapped up in the performative stuff of this. For me, this has been a hobby, so I haven't really put too much focus on download numbers or anything like that, because up until now it's been a way for me to do what I can to give back to and to help people, because there's a lot of confusion going on. And it's cool to see things pay off when I've literally just been doing this as a hobby. So, but people never make it to this point because they're like, man, I had 10 downloads on this episode, and it's not going to work. They get to 10 episodes and it's like, this is too much work. Nobody's watching. Nobody's listening. It's like, if you just show up and you keep showing up, people will see over this long period of time that you're continually going and growing, and it starts to attract attention at some point, at least even a base level of attention, right?
Yeah, and the same can be said for any part of what either of us do, whether it's the social media, the podcast. The first video, the first post you post or whatever, people really aren't going to pay attention to it. Sometimes you get lucky and they do, but a lot of the time it's just little by little by little, or, as we like to say, is brick by brick, eventually the wall gets built. And I think a lot of people don't give themselves that chance. Like we've talked about it before too, of people coming to the trades, and maybe it's the expectation that social media has set, is they think they're going to make 150K by year two, and like maybe in some trades you will, but a lot of them look at that and they're like, they view their apprenticeship of like, oh, this is too long. Like I'm just over here doing all this dumb stuff and I'm only getting paid this much, rather than viewing it as like those 4 years of your education, or, whatever amount of time it is, just like as if you're going to college, because you have to do all that and then get into school, or get out of school, pardon me. But it's, people want to quit here because they're not getting paid this. If they just held on for a little longer, then that graph starts to do this, and you start to rise up. If you had just persevered through it and like maybe thought about it differently or had a different perspective, that like, oh, I'm building the solid foundation so that everything else can come up on top of it, if you will. Let me make a construction metaphor out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think social media shows us these overnight successes, or it shows us these people that are become wildly successful just by happenstance, or because they do something crazy that gets a bunch of attention. But that's not really the tried and true way to do it. And people think that because they don't have that, level of luck, and they'll equate it to excellence, like they don't think they're good enough, that they didn't become a success overnight or even in a year. Like they'll see these people and they're like, well, these people took hardly any time to get to, this level of success, and I'm still down here and I've been doing it way longer. This isn't worth it anymore. It's not worth it. What people don't realize is there's no rush, I guess. People will put too much weight on things happening right now when you've got so much time. It's absolutely insane how much we're focused on like the moment when, 10 years is a long time, right? 10 years feels like a long time until you start to get, really old. But imagine putting your head down and focusing on something for 10 years. Most people, like, when they think about they've put their effort in and focused on something for a long time, they're like 6 months or like a year or something. And then they just are like, well, it didn't happen, so it must not be good. I must not be good enough. And they quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's the thing, like the time's going to pass anyway. So like you can either work on something and try to get better at it. And then instead of sitting there and thinking like, oh man, I wish I could do what you're doing, or I wish I could do what he's doing, or I wish I had what he had or she had, or whatever it is. It's like, well, you've still got the time, regardless of whether you're seeing your efforts come to fruition on day 15 or day, 1500. Like the time's going to pass anyway. So why not work on it, become a master of whatever craft you're trying to create. And, it's just, I guess it's like something we've spoken on before, of the idea of delayed gratification is like, I don't need it now. I need to do the things that set me up to have it at any point in the future. And just with the premise that like it will eventually pay off, regardless of whether it's, like I said, day 15 or day 1500, like eventually it's going to pay off. And I was talking about this with some of the boys at work the other day, of like, they had a couple of their posts go viral, and now, but they've been posted for quite a, a while. And they're like, I don't get it. Why are we getting all these followers this time? And it's like, well, you have a catalog at this point. Yeah. You have 100 or so videos or more that you've posted. So when people see your viral video, they go to your profile and then they're like, oh, this person has all this already. Like I can see all this stuff. And rather than the person that went viral you don't want to go viral on your first post, because then people come to your profile and there's nothing. I'm like, well, why would I follow this person? They made one video. Or like, why would I hire this person? They did one job well, or like that sort of stuff. And so it's maybe the concept of, maybe again, like I said, is like you have this foundation laid so that when the time does arise, you can build this thing very well from that well-laid foundation. Is like those boys, they found their little series, the niche, that they can do, and then that brings in all the attention because it's a really good bait to lure that fish in. And then the fish, those people come in and they see like, these boys are actually pretty funny, or like they do good work, or so I'm going to stick around.
Yeah.
and that sort of stuff. Like, so it's, if you don't persevere through the first 100 videos, like you're never gonna get to that 101st that does that for you, and then, you know, kind of sparks that fire and, you know, lets it run. Or the same can be applied to work. Like if you don't, you know, go in, be intentional about it, and take your apprenticeship and use that time to build the skills and get all that stuff. So when the opportunity presents itself in 2, 3, 4 years for you to go, you know, show off your skill and get more money, or go on your own contracting journey, or start doing side jobs or any of that sort of stuff. Like if you're not prepared for that, then what, like, you're going to fail anyway. So why not take all that time to build all the, like, all those skills to get there? So what's the saying? It's like luck is when opportunity meets prepared, or whatever it is.
Preparedness, yeah, something like that.
Preparedness, you know?
Yeah.
So like that whole concept is really, I guess, why you should persevere through it. And like, oh, I have a goal in mind and I'm going to go toward it regardless. Because like I said, the time's going to pass anyway. So like, I might as well pass it doing something that I'm working toward.
Yeah. Well, you made a really good point there right at the beginning where you were saying the time's going to pass anyways, so like might as well just keep doing it. I think the problem is people are posting, I mean, well, just in the context of social media, they're posting to have that like viral video. So each one that doesn't go viral is like a pulling their motivation out, I guess, that they had, the initial motivation. So you go into whatever you're doing, like going and learning a trade or posting on social media, starting a podcast. If you go into it thinking, okay, I'm going to go make all this money year one, and it doesn't happen, then each time you set these things that are even just performance based, I think if you set those performance based goals, sometimes that can work against you because you're not doing it for the right reason either. So if you're posting on social media to go viral, that's not really a good reason to post on social media. So that can hurt you in the long run. If you're going to work in any job to make money, that's not really a good motivation either, because a lot of times you won't make it fast enough, or you won't make it fast enough, or you'll make the money, but it won't be very satisfying because you're like, well, I need more money, right? So it becomes this, like, if you can just figure out how to put your head down and keep moving forward and find a way to just keep moving forward, I think that's much more reasonable to a reasonable goal, right? You got to find a different goal and then just keep going and keep pushing.
Yeah, I think it's falling in love with the process versus the outcome.
Yeah.
Like like if you instead of dedicating yourself to like, oh, I'm going to be happy and fulfilled and successful when I hit this, to going to like, I'm going to be happy, fulfilled, and successful as long as I'm getting 1% better every day.
Yeah.
Right. So like, as long as you're like, if you can look at your day and be like, yeah, I got 1% better, or like, I work toward getting 1% better, and that's what makes you happy. Like eventually all those stack up and end up here anyway. So it's just, you got to kind of shift your perspective from like, I need to obtain this, to like, I need to do this every day. And like, this is what I'm in love with.
Yeah. Well, and even going back to what we were saying, even if you have this appear and you're like, I need to obtain this, you can go into it knowing that will happen at some point, as long as you keep going. Because it will. You keep going and you keep pushing to be that 1% better. You will get to that goal at some point. Even if it's like a lofty goal is good to have, but I think a performance-based goal that you're also putting a time constraint on, as right now, like I want this right now, that's really hard to deal with. So you can have like this goal up here of I want to get to this point, but realize that it's going to take time, and all you have to do is keep moving forward. Because I feel like the only thing I've ever been able to do is keep going.
Yeah.
Keep pushing.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's just like you're a pretty buff dude. And it's like, imagine if you like went in the gym and like day one, you finish your workout and I was like, well, I don't have a six pack today, so I'm going to stop doing that. Like,
right.
I mean, like you're good. You've been good at that. Of like, cool. I get up every day. I do this every morning, or whatever it may be. And it's like you've you've curated this over
Yeah.
time versus like well, I went and did like 100 crunches and I don't look any different.
That's
You have been good at that.
takes me into my next point. Personal lessons that have taught this. So maybe even one of the lessons or first times I learned this lesson was actually in working out. When I started
Mm-hmm.
working out, I had a goal. I didn't really have a goal. I just wanted to start working out because I felt like it was going to help me.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I felt like crap all the time. I was losing weight, like whatever. There's random shit going on. I was never hungry, all that stuff. So I started working out. I just started. I didn't know what I was doing. I just went with my dad a little bit. He kind of has his own little routine. I was kind of doing what he did. I kind of took some other things, but I just kept going. I kept going a few days a week. And then 6 months later, I'm like 20 pounds up. Honestly, look almost the same as I do right now. I haven't really looked different for a long time. But I remember looking at the 6 month difference and I was like, wait, what? What just happened? And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even look or care during this process. I was not going to get buff or something. I
Mm-hmm.
went because I felt like it was going to help me, and I knew that if I just kept going, that it was going to be better for me in the long run. So I just kept going, kept working out. All of a sudden, I look down, I feel better. I am up on weight, like look better, all the above. And I was like, dang, that's crazy. Maybe I should just keep
Mm-hmm.
doing this. And then that's all I did. Is I just kept going. And that's literally like the only thing I've ever known for sure is if you keep showing up, you'll have at least some measure of success. And what
Mm-hmm.
else are you going to do? Like sit on the couch and do nothing? I mean, the
Yeah.
time's going to pass anyways. You might as well spend it achieving, striving for something.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the gym is one of those too that's like, I feel like you could go in the gym for a month and like the day to day, you're like, I don't really look different. I feel different, because
Mm.
but like, whenever I've been in the gym for a long enough period of time, I'm like, am I wasting my time? Like, I don't feel like I'm doing anything. And then it's like, you put another month in or whatever it is, and you look back, like you said, you look at the beginning and then where you are now, and it's like, this is exponentially different.
Yeah.
Like, even though like to me, I don't, because you see it every day, you're like, oh, I'm in the thick of it. And, what's like, it's hard to see the forest for the trees,
Yeah.
because you're like, oh, I'm seeing like this right in front of me, but I can't see this until you look back at it. And you're like, oh, I look wildly different. Or like if it's social media, it's like I look back, and I'm like, I take videos or edit them. I'm like my way of talking to the camera is exponentially better than the first time I did it. Or the first time I ever laid brick, I'm like, I am exponentially better than I ever was at this period. Or
Yeah.
or like just those sort of things. It's maybe it's hard to see it when you're in the thick of it, but looking back, you're like, I always make these jokes of like looking back at like the first couple side jobs we did, and I'm like, it's like, who the hell laid that? And I'm like, oh wait, it was me. And it's at one point I was taking pictures of it and I was like, look what I did, like look how cool
Right.
that is. And I'm like, now I look at it, I'm like, should I go tell those people I can fix that? Or like, but I was stoked on it because that was my skill level, and that's what like I was
Yeah.
building this, and like I was trying to be in love with this part of the process, not worrying about like being this mason or this contractor or whatever. So like it's still fun, and like those people were, I charged them appropriately for my skill set, so they got they
Yeah.
got what they paid for.
Yeah.
But it's just I guess you don't really see it until you look back at it, when you're in the thick of it, and like you look back, you're like, oh, we have come a long ways, like especially the gym or any of this stuff.
Yeah, that's another good point. Like when I first started doing side jobs, they were such a pain, and I had such a hard time like with the whole process and making sure everything was lined up correctly, and then like nothing ever went the way I wanted it to. And I've
Hmm.
looked back at the last couple I've done, and they were super easy. Everybody like was happy with the end result, and not saying that the end result wasn't good on my first few side jobs. It was more like the whole process just sucked. Everything about it. Like I
Yeah.
had a hard time planning it out. I had a hard time working it, like actually doing the job. Didn't look forward to it at all. And I looked back on it and I was like, man, this was not worth it. But now it's so much easier that I'm like, man, I need to do some more of these every once in a while. Like, I don't know
Hmm.
why I was so against doing it. And it's the repetitions. Like
Yeah.
you do this stuff enough that by the time it like so I guess I'll say I didn't really do many side jobs for a while, but I was
Hmm.
also involved I mean, obviously I was doing this stuff every day and I was involved in
Hmm.
the process more and more, so I was learning more about everything. So by the time I started doing side jobs again, it's like the whole process simplified, like muscle memory type stuff because you're doing it day in and day out. And that's the easiest way to show you the progress is looking back over that long span of time. Like I'm sure nowadays for you, organizing, doing side jobs is mountains easier than it was at first because you
Oh, for
do
sure.
it all the time and you're managing projects that are a lot bigger than like your little side jobs that you get randomly.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like the simple thing of like what to show up with, right? Or like,
Yeah,
hey,
exactly.
I should bring a couple extra things just in case. So like when we get to the very end of the job and we could finish it, I don't have to run and grab a bag of mortar, or like I have all the tools with me even if I don't need them, and it's just little stuff like that because you've experienced it before, and you wouldn't get that if you didn't persevere through all the bullshit of like, okay, I'm going to do this. It should take me 3 days. Why did it take me 7? Like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the main thing there is like I've had a lot of lessons myself of teaching, like that have taught me that as long as I am showing up over a long span of time, there's going to be improvement.
Hmm.
And it's funny because I guess I can't say that about everybody because, we all know those people that just show up to work every day and never get better. I think there is
Hmm.
some level of intentionality that you have to have, right? Like you have to be intentional about trying to learn and get better every day, but it's like a minimal amount. Like if you
Hmm.
show up to work with this minimal desire to be a little bit better every day over a long span of time, you will look back and be like, wow, I can't believe that I've come so far in this time. It doesn't feel
Hmm.
like a long time, but in the moment, if you're only ever basing how good you are in the moment and oh man, I'm not good enough. Yesterday I sucked, today I suck. That's too small of a scale to measure off of, but that's what everybody's doing nowadays because it's all like
Hmm.
everybody wants everything like right now. Like everybody wants everything super fast. You can jump on Amazon and order something and it'll be here the same day. Like
Hmm.
no work to put in. Like everybody wants the stuff, the results right this second. So if you can get it, I mean, what are some specific lessons I think if you could look back on that have taught you that?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the social media thing is an easy way to do this because it's like I still don't get me wrong. I still look at some people. I'm like, gosh, I wish I had jumped like you did. A couple of our friends is like they were doing it, and then all of a sudden, boom, and like, oh, whatever. But like, if I had, looked at that and like, well, he just, so and so just passed me and then doubled me on my follower count or whatever. I was like, I mean, if I just got upset about that and quit, I wouldn't
Yeah,
have signed. Like I told you last month, I signed $30,000 worth of brand deals in a week's period,
that's
and
crazy.
like, I don't think the person that I'm referencing in my head is doing that, but they have the follower account for me, right? So
Yeah,
but if I had just given up and like, oh, well, like it's working out for him, it's not working out for me, I may as well give up. Like I never would have got that. Like the fact of the matter is I try to post, several times a week, every week. And I've been doing it for 5 years, even though it's slower than other people, or like some things don't hit and some things do, or just that sort of stuff. Like if I didn't keep pushing through all that stuff, I never would have got, that, or I never would have doubled my income last year or whatever it may have been. And so you have examples like that, or out in the field, like I said, is like I've been full time for 12 years now. And before that, did summers or between college classes or, whatever since I was 13. And it's like, there's other people that would come into the company and they would be in the labor position and we would move them up to apprentice. And like, well, why am I not? Why didn't I take that or get that opportunity? But instead, we were playing the long game where like I was learning every single job so that I can do everything versus the dude that's no longer with the company anymore. And it's just, if I had looked at those and just been like, well, he got ahead of me, I'll quit now because like I'll just go do something else, I would never have gotten to here. And like now I'm in the opportunity of like I make good money at work, but like yesterday we went and did that side job for you know, took 7 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to like everybody made $1,000 in 7 hours because the five of us all go knock it out. And I've gotten to that point in my career where I'm good enough to go do it by myself. I've made the reputation, like I've done enough side jobs, done enough work, I've posted enough online that people like have been able to like see that and trust that. So now I can go take these opportunities that are like, you want to go like make $1,000 on Saturday, and I can also extend that to the people around me to be like, okay, I trust you guys. Let's all go do this and kind of move forward together. But if I had quit, on year 3 or whatever it is, just because like I looked at so and so who was ahead of me, or like I laid that one wall and I had to tear it down because like my work didn't look good enough, or like I didn't do it right, and I just was like, screw this, like I would have never got to here. And
Yeah.
so it's just in the moment, like it kind of sucks, or like in the moment it's just like, oh, I'm just doing this or just doing that. But then looking back at it after something like yesterday is being able to look back and be like, I am able to provide this opportunity for myself and others because I pushed through, that shitty feeling or that bad day, or push through that sort of stuff to get to this point. And now it's exponentially different than it was on year 1, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point there too. Like the comparison game doesn't work, especially on social media, which people compare followers, which doesn't really do anything for you. Because I know people with upwards of 100,000 followers that aren't even like successful with their social media. Like they just have a lot of followers. They
Yeah.
can't monetize it. They can't like hardly get any views on their videos anymore, because it's not really one to one. You have followers, you're successful. So I don't have that many followers. Last year I made a few $1,000. This year I'll probably make more than that on there. I really don't put that much effort and work into it, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm envisioning it just continuing to grow, and I don't really have that many followers. So it's really surprising to me that it's happened, but grateful for the opportunities. And that's all because I just keep going, and I've just kept
Mm-hmm.
pushing forward, even though I feel like because of a low follower account that I'm not successful. But then I can look at it and say, oh yeah, last month I pretty much made $1,000 on social media and I barely did anything. Like that's crazy. To me, I'm looking at it, I'm like, that doesn't really make sense. But I'm just gonna keep
Mm-hmm.
moving forward, and maybe someday I'll be able to also say, oh yeah, look, I have a lot of followers. I'm successful. I don't know. It's funny like that because the outward appearance is almost never what's actually happening. So
Yeah. And someone the other day, because I was talking about something, like, I remember when you posted you made your first $10. It's like, because I tried to document like, oh, I made
yeah,
10, oh, I made 100, oh, I made 1,000. Like I remember
yeah,
you posted like, what if I could make enough money to make one mortgage payment? And now I'm like, where I'm at now is, like I said, I keep using the term exponentially different. Like, but I wouldn't realize it if I guess I documented it on purpose so that I could look back at that, or like that sort of stuff. Because now it's like, oh, well, like, so and so like is doing this, this, and this. I'm like, I wish I could be doing that. But I'm like, but 3 years ago I was here. So it's
yeah.
like, yeah, you gotta, instead of playing the comparison game, just like being able to look back and be like, I have made a lot of progress from where I was, and that's all that matters, really. Like you said, you just keep showing up, you just keep doing 1% better every day, and it's eventually just it's the snowball effect, if you will.
Yeah. I think trades are good at teaching this as long
Mhm.
as you can like get it through your head that you need to. They're a really good teacher for this because for my job specifically, you can't just quit in the middle of the day and expect it to be fine.
Mhm.
It's on a small scale every single day. It's you just got to keep moving forward and it'll work out. So like we'll
Mhm.
have crappy days. We'll have crappy days where concrete it was sucky to pour, it was sucky to finish, but what are we going to do? Just pack up and go home? No, we can't really do that. You got to just keep going, and then you get to the end of it and it's like, no, I mean, I guess it turned out fine, right? Like looks
Mhm.
fine, turned out fine, it's over. Another day's done. That small scale of that process, you just got to keep going and it will work out. I feel like has helped me because like, what's the worst that could happen? I post for 5 years or something and nothing ever works out on social media, or I do my podcast for 5 years, nothing ever works out. It's not going to happen, but what's the worst that could happen? I wasted my time. But look at the personal growth you could have doing whatever you did that whole time. I think it's trades help a lot with building in that mindset if you can get yourself to that point. But also, like, if I could get any point across to anybody here, it's like just freaking pick something and do it and commit to doing it for 5 years or something. Like, if you can't commit to doing something for 5 years, I don't really feel like your level of commitment is worth or is high enough to even guarantee your success. So, I mean, but just like look at what your social media thing has done for you in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Most people feel like they should be able to get to that point within like a year or two, which is just so unreasonable. But then they'll look at your situation, see how much you're making. They're like, oh, that's awesome. And then you're like, well, yeah, it took me 5 years to get to this point. And they're like, oh man, I don't know, maybe that doesn't sound that awesome. And it's like, well, it sounds like you probably just shouldn't do it then. If you can't commit to something for 5 years, then I don't think you can commit to doing it at all, because it's not that long, the grand scheme of things.
Right.
Like that's like a minimum level of commitment. You just gotta keep doing it. And if I told you that when I started working out, I didn't really plan to work out for so long, but I pretty much didn't miss a week or more than a week for 7 years, you'd probably look back and be like, oh, maybe that's not that impressive, because all I did is keep going to the gym. It's not like I had this exponential or this overnight growth of muscle. I just kept going for 7 years, like never missing more than a week. It's not that impressive to me, because I feel like it's just what you do. You just start something and you just keep doing it, and at some point it does pay off. Yeah, this instant gratification world is freaking screwing us, I think.
Yeah, well, and you've cultivated the habit of going and like doing something hard every day, or like regardless of how you feel, you're like, no, I don't miss more than a week.
Yep.
Like, or regardless of what you have going on, like, you know, whatever life threw at you, you had a vacation or whatever it is, you're like, no, I have this habit that I've cultivated that I don't, you know, I do this even though it's hard. And it's to go back to the construction aspect of it. It's like, you know, concrete shows up even if you're having a bad day. You got to push through it. Or like, in my situation is, you know, like if we're laying block and it's, hey, grout's coming at 2:00 and we still have 400 block to lay. It's like, I mean, yeah, my back is sore, but I'm still going. Like, I scheduled it. I'm the idiot that scheduled it. Like, you know, it's like you got to push through that. And it's like we talked about earlier, and we keep going back to the gym. Like my coach that I had at one time, Dane, he'd say, like, do this set to failure. And I feel like most people probably quit like well before failure, but construction teaches like knowing that like I can push through, like continue to lay block or continue to get ahead or like do those sort of things at work. Just because there's a deadline or like whatever it is. I'm like, in the gym, I was like, well, I know for a fact I have more in the tank, and like, it probably helps to have someone there with you at that point, because like you're not going to drop something on top of you. But that's a sidebar. But like, it's, you know, the working out in the field in construction teaches you those, like, maybe it can teach you more of what you're capable of. Because like, had I never gone through those days where like you got to get done before grout, or you got to get this done to top out so that we can do something else tomorrow, or like getting through like, I don't feel good today, or like I'm just having a bad day, but I'm still like, I still got to show up and I still got to do this because either this deadline relies on me or these people rely on me. Like, I never would have had that if I wasn't working construction, because it's so like I never learned that lesson because or this lesson of like perseverance without the trades we work in.
Yeah. I feel like it helps a ton, for sure. I know there's a lot of industries that would teach this as well, but I feel like it's easier. It's easier to see progress in construction as well. So I think that's part of the thing is you can get that almost an instant gratification over a day fix in.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can see the process is so visual per day. You can
Mm-hmm.
see what you accomplished and you can see the results of what your work has done every single day. I think that's a lot of what helps. But what you said a minute ago reminded me of something as well. Like, so I don't actually anymore work out very consistently. I worked out today and I worked out last Sunday, but that's about it. Like, there's been times in this last year that I've gone even upwards of a month without working out, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't really look any different and I don't really feel any different either. And I feel like I've been going for so long now that I can take time off and not feel like I'm just gonna revert to like lose all of my muscle and then I'm never gonna go again. So
Mm-hmm.
like I always keep working out to some level, but I did it for so long that it's not gonna be an issue. I know a lot of people that like start going to the gym and they push really hard for a year and they get like absolutely shredded, they lose a bunch of weight, and they'll go for maybe
Mm-hmm.
another year and then just completely stop. And then they'll like gain 100 pounds and all of a sudden they're like freaking huge, fat, not muscled. And I'm like, all you had to do is keep going. All you had to do is keep
Mm-hmm.
going. And you had the result that you wanted and you lost it. Like what was the point? That happens all the time, which is crazy. I mean, can you imagine
Mm-hmm.
like someone saying they want to work out and they're overweight, then they go lose a bunch of weight, they get absolutely jacked, and they're like that for a year, and then they lose it, and you're like, all you had to do is keep going. Like that tells me right there that the result isn't even as important as people think.
Mm-hmm.
So people when they start things are not committed to this long scheme, this long time frame of showing up day after day. They just want to get like this result, and then it's like maybe they just get that picture of themselves and put it up on the wall and they're like, yeah, I did that. Like Uncle Rico, dude. Like, oh
Yeah.
dude, if I would have been put in, we would have won the state. Coach would
I
have
could
put
have
me
gone
in.
pro if it wasn't for my knee.
And it's like you're missing the whole point. Your life is long. Okay? You don't need to have this result right now. And even if you get to that point, it's not an end goal. You got to keep going. Like, if you had decided, okay, I want to make enough money to make a mortgage payment off social media, and then you were like, yeah, all right, I think I'm done now. I mean, what would have been the point of that either? It's like you get to this arbitrary goal, and then if you just completely stop, like you got there, you got to the destination, and then you were like, oh well, time to do something else, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Nice
it's
view.
it's the yeah, right. It's the wrong reason, I guess, is what I'm getting at. If you can get into your head to just keep going rather than I need to get to this point or I need to get to that point, I think
Mm-hmm.
it'll be much better long term. Is what I'm the point I'm making.
I think um, for those listening, like what you're getting at is like incredibly important. Don't get there and stop, or like always be moving your goalpost. But I think the way you get there, or the way you get to like what Jaden is talking about, is you got to figure out your reasons why, if you will. Like you've spoken about earlier, is like you go to the gym because you're like, okay, this helps me. I'm like, I'm going
Yeah.
to the gym because this helps me. It makes me feel better. It probably makes me live longer. All these sort of things. It's not so I can bench 225, or it's not so you can weigh whatever. It's not so you can have this physique. It's so that in the long run you're benefiting yourself. So you're like, yeah, I even if you miss out or like whatever, you're like, I'm gonna keep working out because long term goal, like I'm doing it. I'm doing it because of this big picture. Like work is the same. It's like, cool. Why am I out here in this every day? It's like, well, one, I provide for my family. Two, I have a goal of like certain goals that have to do with other things. And three, I'm out there even on my bad days because I have a crew that looks up to me and relies on me. I'm like, cool,
Yeah.
I can show up and do anything, like any bad, annoying job, whatever it is, because I'm like, well, those guys rely on me, so I'm gonna go knock this out because then they see how I handle it and that ripple effect takes care of itself. And I'm going to keep working on this because then I get more opportunities like yesterday that help me and help those guys get ahead. Or
Mhm.
like the social media thing, it's like you know I could be upset that I don't have a certain amount of followers, or that like I don't have a certain thing going on. But that's not like, my goal isn't to gain this number. My goal is to maybe help someone who's interested in the trade, or help
Yeah.
a future apprentice, or help someone who's already in the trade figure something out,
Yeah.
or make someone laugh, or that sort of stuff. So it's like the goal,
It's almost a
the
byproduct.
goal, yeah, the goal is a byproduct. That's a good way to put it. And it's like, you got to have something, you got to have your why that takes care of, like, that pulls you forward. And it's
Yeah.
got to be big enough that, like, your why is far bigger than any, like, bad day or bad hour you
Yeah.
could have.
Yeah. Your why is your drive. Your why is not your goal, I guess, or even
Mm-hmm.
the success that you have, because your success is literally just a byproduct of this other stuff. You need to have another reason that you keep coming and keep showing up, that you continually
Mm-hmm.
do it too, and then that success comes. I think overly the focus that people have is so much so on this dollar amount, or number of followers, or whatever it is. And when you reach that, it's like, well, what happens now? What do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to have a bigger reason why. I think that's good.
Yeah, because otherwise it's just like, I mean, realistically, your life is just going to be full of other mountaintops, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, you get to the top, and like, that's why I made that joke of like, oh, nice view. Like, cool. Well, there's a tall mountain over there. Start climbing.
Yeah.
Like, there's another view over there, or like just the little things like that. And so as long as you have that big why in place as your driving force, is like, okay, cool. Like, I can keep climbing. I can keep doing that sort of stuff. Or I can keep moving forward because I have this behind me pushing me that direction, versus like, oh, I'm just trying to get to the top of that hill, and then that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crucial. Speaking of that, there was a event one of my friends was putting on last night, a sunset to sunrise walk, and I couldn't make it, but I wanted to. And that is like all what we're talking about. You just got to keep moving, you just got to keep going. The
Mm-hmm.
end is in sight. The end comes at some point, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not that you're focused on either. I think I'm going to do one of those. That sounds like something to do, just to be hard, just because.
I think my buddy Drew did that one day of like, he was like, he's like, I had to do something hard so that like, I I seriously, I think he walked for like something like 20 hours, like something ridiculous, like
That's ridiculous.
stupid. Yeah, like some stupid thing, no social media, no music, just
Yeah.
walked.
Yeah.
And like, me looking, I'm like, Drew, why would you even do this?
Yeah.
He goes, and he's kind of a little more like energies and spiritual guy. He goes, and he's like, well, I walked, and that really sucked for that whole day that I walked. But then like the next day, like, I got my bed, or like my shoes, or like whatever, like those little comforts were that much sweeter, because I was like, well, that
Yeah.
was terrible. And like, now this is awesome, and so
Yeah.
that's just kind of where he was. And like, I'm not going to go do that. You have fun. But like, I can see that benefit of like, I'm going to go do something really,
Yeah.
like hard. I'm going to persevere
Yeah.
through this really hard thing, because it changes your perspective and makes the other things in your
Yeah.
life feel a little bit sweeter.
Yeah. We'll get you doing one some point, maybe. I haven't done anything like that, but I might be convinced. Not might be. I was going to, but I couldn't make it this
My
weekend.
Ride my Harley past you as you're doing it and wave.
They basically started walking at around sunset, and then
Yeah,
yeah, no social media, no music or anything like that. You just walk until the sunrise.
that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Good for them.
I was interested but couldn't make it. You had a lot going on this weekend, unfortunately. We got a couple more coming up this year, so I will be probably going to those ones. So,
I will
perseverance.
live vicariously through you on that one.
You can get the lessons from me, I guess.
Yeah, we'll do a podcast about it. I'm like, Jaden, what'd you learn today?
Yeah, right. Well, I think we got that one pretty good. Do you have anything else to add?
No, dude, I think that's good. Like, I think, yeah, the big things, like having your why behind you and, persevere, like, don't just give up on the first bad day or, the couple bad experiences. Don't let that ruin you because, like, the long game is, you know, there's an exponential difference from day one to day whatever you want to be, even if there's a lot of this in between. Like, it still arrives at the same destination. And like we've said a couple times, is the time's still going to pass, so why not? Why
Yeah.
not pursue it?
And like what you mentioned that's been on your mind is you can get to the point you're at and look at the opportunities you can provide to like do side jobs and help everybody else out as well, which is really cool. I think a lot of people actually would love to do that, but don't see themselves as able to do that because even if you're a jackass, you do like to help people. I think that's a common theme for most for most humans, unless you're just a crazy psychopath. I think you do like to, so that can be something that really helps. If your why is to be able to help other people, I think that's a probably good enough. Like get to a position that you can help other people also succeed. Be
Yeah. And
super good.
yeah, and maybe that's not the initial thing that does it for you. Like, I didn't initially get here because I was like, I want to make sure that all the apprentices can, go do this with me. Like initially it was like, I want to get really good at this because of like my own motives. And then it's like, I want to go do a bunch of side jobs and get well known for this, like being very good at my craft because then I can go buy a house or like I can afford the things that I want to do or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then like, I mean, that shiny object kind of loses its shininess, if you will. And then you're like, okay, well, what's a real reason to do this? And it's like, well, what if I start taking care of the people around me as
Yeah.
well? And then like continue to create those opportunities for those around me. And that's a far bigger driving force than like me as a person could have ever been. So that's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a big one.
Yes, sir. Awesome. Well, for everybody listening, if you liked this episode, like, share, subscribe. It really helps out. We're really getting some traction right now with the podcast, so it'd be cool to continue that. Follow both of us on social media and be on the lookout for Q&A stuff or ways to also contribute to the podcast. And if you have like topic ideas, just reach out to us. I think being able to interact with the community is kind of cool to help us with content and stuff. So Jesse, appreciate you, and we will see all you guys next week.
Appreciate you, Doc.